Hey there folks, Dr. Mike for module number 4. Now before we get rolling with anything, I should point out that because we pushed back the opening of this module by 1 day, I am pushing back the close of the module by 1 day. So the module now opened on June the 9th, up from June the 8th, and the module will be closing on June the 16th as opposed to June the 15th. So I've made that small tweak in our schedule on eCampus, and I just wanted to let you know why. Now, beginning the module, before we begin the module, it's time for another fun fact with me, Dr. Mike. And for this week's fun fact, this module's fun fact, I should say, I want to know if any of you recognize this guy. Now, I point and look over here because I edit in the graphics afterwards, and that's where I'm hoping it shows up. I hope. Anyways, this little bugger is named Clippy. Originally was called Clippit. Clippy is the short nickname. It's not that much shorter, but that's how it works. And the Clippy was a personal assistant well before the personal assistants that we know today, such as Siri or Alexa. Clippy was a personal assistant for Microsoft Office, first introduced in Office 97. And as a personal assistant, Clippy would pop up on the screen and offer help to users. Now, you have to keep in mind, this was a time before computers were in everybody's home and everybody knew how to use them. Computing had become more accessible because graphical user interfaces and other advancements in usability had made them so that your everyday person could at least learn to use a computer. The internet was also becoming a very popular means of sharing, distributing information, and so people started buying computers. The prices also had come down, they were affordable, but computers were still intimidating to a lot of people. So Clippy was designed to make software more usable by guiding users through tasks in a way that they hoped would reduce effort and reduce errors. Microsoft had developed him believing that, well, maybe people will be able to interact with computers better if they interact with them like they do with other people. So the idea was that they were going to create a human-like icon that would offer assistance and help to people as they worked with Microsoft Office. And thus Clippy was born, and Clippy was promoted heavily. But the feature drew a strong and negative response from many users. While Clippy may have been amusing and helpful the first few times you encountered him, he became frustrating, exponentially so, because he would frequently pop up even when you didn't want to and offer suggestions and help that you already knew. Clippy went into partial retirement in 2002 and was finally turned off by default. Till then, Clippy was on by default. And he departed in his entirety in 2007 when Microsoft just took him out of Office altogether. Clippy has since become a source of memes and has been heavily mocked on the internet due to his incredible unpopularity. He is often pointed to as a famous example of poor design due to all of the negative emotions that he evoked from users. And it is that idea of emotions, or what we call affect and interfaces related to affect, that is the foundation of this module. This module begins with 2 videos that I've created to introduce and describe the idea of affective fit. There are then 2 readings that connect affect to interface design. I should point out at this point that affective fit, as well as our previous module's topic of cognitive fit, as well as our next module's topic of physical fit, will be returned to time and again, as these are foundational concepts in this course. In our 6 and to some extent our 7th module. We're going to be further exploring interface design principles and guidelines that directly connect back to these aspects, all 3 aspects of fit. So if you're asking yourself as you go through these modules how some of these ideas more closely will relate or do relate to human-computer interaction beyond just the readings, we will be exploring that in the near future. This week's journal entry is going to be a little bit different. I'm asking you for this entry to write a short fictional story. Because Effective Fit focuses on task technology connections to our emotions, I think this will be kind of a fun exercise. I'm asking you to essentially place yourself in someone else's shoes and consider the feelings that they would be experiencing in using a particular user interface. Traditionally, this has been one of the activities in my human-computer interaction classes that students have tended to like the most. So do keep an open mind, even if this activity seems a little weird in an information systems course. For my graduate student peeps, you know who you are. You have a deadline that is unique to you, a deliverable, and that is your first design diary. Now, these design diaries are where you report and reflect on good and bad examples of interface design that you find in the wild, not the jungle or outside, but rather in your everyday encountering of user interfaces. These diaries are not public like the journals are, but for these, you will have one journal in which you do share some of your findings, but for the diaries specifically at the end of the term, actually our 8th module, I'm going to ask you to submit a design diary that consists of 8 entries. That is 4 examples of good interface design and 4 examples of bad interface design. For this submission, this is your first diary submission. The one in Module 8 is your second and final diary submission. I'm actually asking you to put together your first 2 examples, one good, one bad, just to make sure you're on track. So make sure you check out the instructions for that, as that will provide you with a little bit more detail. As usual, there is another module check at the end of the module. In addition, in the next day or 2, I'll be putting together a short survey to get some informal feedback about what you think of the course and maybe what I can do better, what's not working, or suggestions for how to improve. While this is optional, it will serve as your official badge opportunity for module number 4. If you decide to complete it, you certainly don't have to. I'm also hoping to reach out to folks in the very near future to schedule Zoom meetings. These are also going to be optional, but I think it would be cool if I could touch base with everyone in the class just to see how folks are doing and just have an opportunity to speak personally. So with that, folks, that is the end of my Module 4 introduction. As always, make sure you email me if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, or you can leave them in the Magical Ask box. Not getting a lot of use out of the Magical Ask box, but that is a great place that you can drop suggestions, feedback, comments, and all of that good stuff. So with that, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you online.